Hello everyone, it's Dr. Sue Morter here, and I am thrilled to be with you right now on Facebook Live for the short answer. So I'm coming to you from my home, which is posing as Morter Institute right now, and it is Morter Institute is an institution for education regarding bridging science and spirit and human possibility. We are working with, sorry about my camera moving around right now, it's just kind of what happens with Facebook Live. So what happens at Morter Institute is we are teaching you how to merge your right brain and your left brain and bring them together for accessing the one mind. And I'm thrilled to be here bringing self-healing principles to you and ideas that you can apply right away in your lives. And it's fun for me to be talking with you. Some of you I'm talking with for the first time. Perhaps you are coming to us from the healing transmission, or perhaps a meditation that I've done with a larger group of people where we were simply in a meditative state recently around the globe, which was a beautiful experience of bringing a humanity into coherence. And the Institute of Heart Math was measuring our impact around the world, and we actually had a spike and a rise in the level of consciousness at this time. So the practices that we are using are contributing to the elevation of consciousness constantly. And I'm going to speak to you today about the single most important thing that you can be doing right now. But first, I want to make sure that I mention to you the many things that are coming your way. So this weekend, we are bringing forth the Conscious Leadership Program, which is all about how to serve from the soul, how to bring unity consciousness into the business world and into the practices of ethics and values out in the realm of being of service in any way that you might choose. So you might be interested in still jumping in on that program now that we're live streaming things. Some of our sold out programs are now no longer sold out because there are plenty of room. There's plenty of room in the room, plenty of seats in the house, right? So I also want to invite you to the healing transmission for April, which is April 29th, that is coming up. And know that what happens in the healing transmission is you don't have to do any work. You just sit back, and I'm going to teach you how to open and receive to the healing vibrational frequencies that are available to you. And we are transmitting those globally, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful experience for so many. And much more coming up as well. We have the Body Awake yoga is tomorrow morning again, which is free. You may be aware of that, you may not. So plug in with us. Just contact freebodyawakeyoga.com, freebodyawakeyoga.com if you want to join us in that program. We also have Energy Codes Level 2 coming up. And if you've ever attended any program that I have taught, any workshop that I've taught, or on the Shift Network, or if you've read the book, The Energy Codes, or if you've been to one of my Level 1 courses, or if you're wondering if something that you have attended would qualify you for Level 2, that is certainly right around the corner, and I recommend that. That is April 24th through the 26th. So much more coming up as well in May, a facilitator program if you're wanting to learn how to teach people from the Energy Codes book, or if you're wanting to learn how to do hands-on healing with bioenergetic work of energy medicine that my father began developing in the course of his life. And we are continuing to deliver and add upon that. So just know that there are many, many ways that you can learn at Morter Institute, and we are here for you. We're here for you right now in a very specific way, in a very important way, and that is, I want to speak to you about the single most important thing that you could be doing right now. These are interesting times. They are creative times, and my invitation to you is to allow it to be simply a creative time rather than a crisis. Every time you hear the word crisis, I'd love for you to turn it into creativity. Now, I know that we have many friends that have been impacted by this directly. Maybe you have been impacted by this time directly, but I want you to understand something that is an ancient teaching. An ancient teaching would tell us that there is only ever one thing happening here, and it is an exercise in consciousness. And as we begin to embrace that idea, what begins to show up in our lives is that we're becoming aware of how we're responding to all situations. And in that moment, if we're capitalizing on it as an opportunity to generate and create a response, a reaction, an inspiration that I would much rather be experiencing in the face of this. It's an opportunity for us to become creator rather than reactor or responder. There is so much happening in our world right now that is calling us into fear. It's calling us into vibrational frequencies that are not very pleasant. And what I want you to remember is this: you are always at choice. And the single most important thing that you can do right now is to remember that you are always at choice. And there is one thing that needs to be in the forefront of our focus when all things come forward that generate a sensation of fear. Here's number one. Remember that nothing causes you to feel afraid. Nothing causes you to feel angry. What happens is that fear and that hurt and that anger is inside of you, and the current circumstances are tapping that on the shoulder and calling it up and out of you for a reason. So you'll hear me say oftentimes in my teachings that there's only one thing happening here, and it's good. And that's kind of tough to take when you've lost your job and family members are sick and you aren't able to visit them or be helped by someone when you need it. It's kind of hard to hear that there's only one thing happening here and it is good. And I want to just drop that in for you, if I may, that our opportunity is to refine our mind. Our opportunity here on planet Earth is to train our minds to find the real us and to serve it. And the real you is eternal. The real you is fine right now. And in this now moment, if you ask yourself, I know all this is happening and all these things are going on, but in this moment right now, am I okay? And if you check in the present moment, no matter, even if you are ill in this moment, even if you are unable to function and do the things that you'd like to be doing, when you come completely present to this now moment, there is a sense of well-being inside of you because we're made of the unified field of creative source energy. And the outpicturing of that, the experience of that in its wholeness is a sense of well-being. It is okay. So if over the course of a day you're getting worried about money, or you're getting worried about the future, or you're hearing some of the broadcasts that are talking about the future of the economy, or the idea that things are just a conspiracy theory in some way, all of these optional ways of allowing your mind to take off and run in a particular direction are invitations for you to do the single most important thing available right now. The single most important thing that you can do right now is stay present and choose. Make a free will, conscious, intentional choice. In the teachings of the energy codes, I talk about the central channel a lot, and we do a lot of central channel breathing, and we learn how to breathe in the belly to calm us down. We're going to be doing some of that in the master class coming up soon in just a few minutes. But what I want you to understand is that what we're doing when we do this central channel breathing, and we learn to breathe in the belly instead of in the upper chest. In fact, just take a deep belly breath right now with me. Just breathe down low, below your diaphragm. Breathe down low and stretch open your solar plexus, and then exhale. Just And when you do that over and over and over again, and you slow it down, and you even do that in slow motion, you start to tap alpha frequency, which allows your system to kick into filtering and cleansing and healing. And a robust immune system is a part of that. But I want to say that while we're doing this central channel breathing from above the head into the belly, and then exhaling into the earth, and just imagining this and intending it, and breathing up into the belly and exhaling up and out the top of the head, what is starting to happen is you're cultivating this central channel, a place where your deepest states of consciousness reside always. It's like still waters run deep at the central core channel of your body. And as we begin to cultivate this, we begin to establish this idea that there's actually nothing more important that I could do than not let anything crash my column, my central channel column. I don't want to crash it. I'm spending time cultivating a sense of self and well-being. I'm spending time cultivating, learning how to breathe and to drop down into my deep core wisdom centers instead of getting up into my heads and writing stories and operating from a place of fear and projecting that fear out into the world. Instead of doing that, I'm going to just stop here and keep this precious. I'm going to keep this precious and allow it to be a true state of being that I'm consciously choosing. And I'm not going to let anything crash this. The moment you get upset, you crash the column. The moment you start worrying, you crash the column. The moment that you're carrying anger and frustration, or you're retracting or withholding in some way, you're crashing this column. And crashing the column produces an acidic environment in your body. And producing an acidic environment in your body causes cellular breakdown, a breakdown of the immune system, and makes you susceptible to what's happening in the outer world. Much more of an impact will happen in your life. So when you central channel breathe, it is, number two, it is for providing and cultivating the proactive version of you that is creative, that is healthy, that is vital, that is strong. We're not taking central channel breaths and breathing in the belly and cultivating an immune system in order to fight off COVID-19. It isn't about that. In fact, every time you take an action to prevent or to avoid or to fight back against, you're actually creating duality. So it is an invitation for you to look at this time as an opportunity for you to realize how you do get tangled into the material world and what's happening in the outer world, the manifest world is what I mean by that. How much you do get impacted by the stories that are traveling around and the fears that maybe you and even friends are getting tangled up into. So the next time that you catch that, the single most important thing that you can do is come back into your heart and start breathing in your belly and start central channel breathing in such a fashion that it allows you to remember the truth of who you are. Because the truth of who you are is fine. The truth of who you are is going to come through this into any experience that you are supposed to go through. Whatever is intended for you in the divine plan of all things is unfolding now. In the whole of history, of humanity, the only thing that has ever been happening is a great unfoldment and an elevation of consciousness. And if we will train our minds to see through that lens, we will start creating unity consciousness, meaning there are no choices about how I'm going to respond to anything. I am simply showing up, feeling what I actually feel, honoring that feeling, coming into my core, or my heart, or my gut, or my throat, or my chest, wherever I am feeling that feeling. And I'm letting that feeling be honored, and I'm including it in a central channel breath up and down through my body. And I'm coming home to myself. Because when I do that, I start to use these fear-based energies that were stored inside of me that the current circumstances are causing to come up and out to the surface of me. And I'm experiencing them thinking that the outer world is causing me to feel this way. And I assure you, the outer world is only inviting you to deal with what was stuffed down there inside of you. And if you aren't able to deal with it now, then it stays packed in there underneath the surface, ultimately generating acidic environments, breakdowns in energy flow, which ultimately creates chronic degenerative diseases, a compromised immune system, cancers, debilitative conditions, etc. That's where it comes from. Energies, collapsing cells, and breaking down systems. We're not here to do that. We're here to cultivate what is meant to be. We're here to step into and breathe into our creatorship. When you see a circumstance that doesn't seem supportive, ask yourself, how could I look at this in a way that is supportive to me? Is there one thing inside of this moment that I could glean from, that I could be appreciative of? I personally am very appreciative right now that all of humanity is being asked to be more creative than they were just a few months ago. Just a couple of months ago, we were stuck in our patterns and our habits and our regular rituals of getting up and blindly going to work and doing our thing and coming home. And right now, everyone around the world is sharing the opportunity, the invitation to go home and sit down and create some space in your life for just a moment. And the invitation here is for you to create sacred space out of this time. I want for our community to rise up out of this and emerge better than we were before it happened. Because I firmly know that everything that is happening in our favor if we'll only let it. And it's a matter of training our minds to do that. We're about to dive into the masterclass, and if you're not a member of the masterclass, I want to tell you how that you can do that so that you can join us in this class. And and hear questions from around the world coming in, and me answering those questions in one common story that allows all of us to understand that we're in this together, and that we have common questions, and that there are answers that weave all of our questions together in the bonded truth that exists underneath the surface of life experience that we're having right now. There is a calm state of you. I don't want to tap it. I want you to tap it. I want you to be able to find it and live from that, from this moment on. And so in the masterclass, we're teaching you how to do that more. So the gold membership is what you have to do that. So this is for the individual who is ready to learn the practical tools for embodying your higher consciousness. There are all kinds of tools available to you. You get started with the energy codes this way. There are free episodes. The first month of the masterclass is free. There are a list of recommended yoga poses and body awake yoga examples and live meditations for you to do that are located on a membership page that you get there. So you're going to go to how do they plug into the masterclass? It's not stated here exactly how to do that. So you're going to have to join us for the masterclass at 7:45 today Eastern Time, and you're going to click on the link in the comments section. That's what I was wondering, where you could find the link. It's in the comments section, and it's $15 to join, but your first month is free, and we'll send you your login Zoom link for the masterclass immediately. It may take about 10 minutes for you to get it, but you can join us in this global conversation that goes for about an hour, and it is deep-reaching content and exercises and experiences that you can do to start building the electromagnetic circuitry and the neurocircuitry for you to have the life experience that is directed from the soulful self, not the fear-based mind, dualistically oriented, and always having to choose one or the other. So I want you to know that there is a felt sensation. And the single most important thing that you can do right now is to maintain peace and loving presence to every single thing that you are feeling. Don't push your feelings away. Do not suppress them back. The entire world is working hard to pull those up and out of you right now. And you want to grab this opportunity as one that is for you instead of something that is working against you. I know that we have a lot happening right now. And I know that in the masterclass you will find many ways to begin to show up to that better than you were before this moment of creativity sat down around our planet. So much love to you all. Thanks for connecting in here. I'll see you in the masterclass shortly, and I'll see you for yoga tomorrow morning and for the healing transmission on the 29th. And also check out any of the classes that we are now live streaming, and we have opened up some courses that were sold out. So check it out on drsumorter.com. Much love to you all. See you in just a few moments.